Welcome to Shine Movement Space. In this stretch and release class, I'll be using the Corefirst Pilates Reformer at-home bands and a chair, but this can also be done with an exercise band or without resistance. We are going to take some time to open up through the areas that become compressed due to sitting or being hunched forward through our upper body. I hope this routine leaves both your body and mind feeling uplifted. Grab a chair, find a place to anchor your bands, and let's get moving and shine together. Hello, thanks for joining me today. If you have a Corefirst system or similar resistance bands, we're going to start with one on one of our ankles, and then the other end is going to be in our opposite side hand. So right now I have this on my left ankle, and I'm going to hold it behind me in my right hand. We're using a chair today, and before we start, just make sure that your chair won't slide away if your floor is slippery. So I have mine on my mat to make sure it doesn't slide out from under me. Okay, if you don't have bands, you can also perform this as well. It's still going to give you a nice stretch and release and opening through our lower body and side body. Okay, so we're going to start with one foot on top of our chair. We're going to try to make sure that our chair is just a little bit lower than our hip level. And then we're going to make sure our hips are pointing directly towards the seat of that chair. We're in one long line, making sure that we're not opening towards the side. So hips are pointing towards that chair. We're going to inhale here. On the exhale, I want you to think long, long, long. You're going to reach through your spine and hinge forward. Inhale to come up. Exhale, hinging forward. Inhale to stand. If you can't see it, my back hand is in that Corefirst band, and it's just pressing gently forward so that I have a little bit of tension in the strap. There's just slight tension on my foot strap as well. So as I hinge forward, my shoulder stays down. I'm just pressing forward into that strap to deepen that hamstring stretch on that top leg here. Hips are trying to be square and nice and even. So even though this leg is up, we try not to hike that hip up any higher than it has to be on the chair. We hinge over. And one more time. On the next one, we're going to stay with a little bit of a hinge, and then let's just bend and stretch that bottom leg just a few times. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Try not to sink into one side of your hip. Let's do one more. Inhale and exhale. Very nice. Stand up, shoulders nice and tall and proud. We're going to bend that front knee that's on the chair now. You're going to think of tucking the pelvis just slightly under, lifting in and up through the lower abs to initiate that tuck. And then we bend our knee and straighten up. We're going to feel a little more stretch through this hip flexor here. We bend our knee and straighten up. I want you to just make sure that the bum is slightly tucked, lower abdominals lifted so that the back is not arching here. So we still feel that rib to hip connection in the front with that slight posterior tilt of the pelvis. All right, let's do one more here. Very nice. Come up with control. You're going to take that strap behind you and bring it to the other hand. And then slowly come up on the ball of your foot and rotate your heel to face the camera. You're nice and turned out here. And then this leg is turned out as well. So feeling a nice opening through your hips. You're going to bring that front strap about in line with your belly button here. We inhale and exhale. We shift side to side. Shifting a little bit more into that foot that's on the seat of the chair. Opening through that inner thigh here. Shifting side to side. This also takes some core balance as well. So we want to make sure that our core is stabilizing us. Our abdominals are drawing towards our spine. We feel that rib over hip connection. Few more like this. In a nice externally rotated position. So this knee is going to think of opening up through those external rotators. So trying not to let the knee fall forward, but rather keeping that openness here. And let's do one more. Very nice. We're going to stand with our hip over that bottom ankle here. You're going to extend that leg that's on the chair nice and long. You may want to keep it just slightly forward of your hip on the chair. Grab with the outside arm. Hold that nice and stable right around that belly button area. Inhale, we're reaching long, up and over, side bending, and then we come on up. We inhale, reach out, up and over, side bend, and come on up. Inhale and exhale. As we side bend, we try not to press our weight fully into that hip, but rather we think of elongating through our torso, lengthening before we bend over. Inhale and exhale, feeling a nice opening here on the side of the body. Inhale and exhale. Let's do one more. Inhale and exhale. Very nice. You're going to grab a hold of that front strap for stability. You're going to rotate the hips towards the anchor. You kind of heel toe that foot on the bottom, and then I want you to take this back foot, you're going to untuck your toes and lay that shin bone onto the seat of your chair. If your feet are too close together, you may need to heel toe that front or that standing leg foot a little bit wider so that you're not like on a tightrope here. I'm holding this strap in my hand for stability. I'm just going to inhale and exhale, pulling on that strap just slightly. I find a tuck of the pelvis by lifting up through my lower abdominals. Just pulling the strap slightly. The more your torso is upright in this position, the more stretch you're going to feel on this front quadricep group and hip flexors. So we're trying to keep our shoulders nice and rotated towards that anchor. I know that when I turn towards the camera, I lose the squareness in my hips and shoulders. But just so I'm saying it, I know I have my back to you. I'm just breathing through this stretch here, inhaling and exhaling. You can pull that strap closer to you. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, lengthen the arm, and exhale, pull it in. Very nice. I'm going to lengthen through that elbow, and then I'm going to make sure I feel nice and stable here. Core is engaged. I'm going to lift that back arm up. We're going to inhale at the top, and then shoulders are going to rotate slightly towards that side wall. Circle down and up. Inhale, open, and circle. This is a balance challenge as well. We inhale and open, getting some rotation through our spine. Let's do one more. Inhale and exhale. Very nice. Come up through the center now. We're just going to leave that hand right over the top of our head. We lengthen through our torso. The bottom half of our back stays nice and still, and the top half is just going to extend. You think heart shines towards the ceiling, and then we come back to center. Inhale, we think up, long spine as we extend the chest towards the ceiling, and then we come back to center. We want to make sure we don't feel that in the lower back, lifting up with our lower abdominals, really opening through that front of the body here. One more. Shining the heart towards the ceiling and come on up. Very nice. You're going to slowly put the weight on that front foot, bring the other foot to the floor, and then back up and find a seat here. We have that opposite hand still holding the strap. Plant your feet nice and firmly on the ground, a little bit in front of your knees. We inhale. Exhale, tuck your chin to your chest, round your spine. Walk up the straps with your hands as you curl your spine, laying the torso in between the feet. Inhale at the bottom, feel a nice stretch across your back, and exhale. Press down through your feet, stacking your spine up. Feel nice and tall. Inhale here. Exhale, tuck chin to chest. Find some roundness through the middle spine and lower spine as you start to dive forward. Reaching the arms forward, feeling a nice stretch across the lower back. Inhale here. And exhale. Feel stable through your feet as you climb back up the rope. On the next one, we'll stay at the bottom and stretch for a few breaths. Inhale. Exhale, tuck chin to chest. Rolling down, finding that C curve. Thinking of your spine moving backwards as your torso comes forward. Hold here and breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. Feeling the rib cage widen in the back. Creating space between those ribs, between the vertebrae. Inhale. And exhale, sink lower. One more breath. Inhale. And exhale. Very nice. You can set down that strap. You're going to sit yourself up, bringing that foot with you, and then take the strap off your ankle. And then we'll stand up nice and tall and set for the other side. So take a moment and get set up. Okay, I have my Corefirst on my opposite ankle. I'm going to rotate my hips towards the chair and then make sure that the opposite side hand is grabbing that Corefirst behind. I'm going to stabilize my core and then step one foot onto the chair. So hips are facing that chair. My knee is nice and extended here. I'm lifting up as I hinge over and come on up, lifting my torso, feeling a stretch through this left hamstring for me. Abdominals pull in as I lengthen my spine to fold over and come on up. Trying to feel nice and stable, not sinking into one side of my hip. And coming up. And I fold forward and come on up. So this strap behind me is helping to increase that feeling of lengthening in my hamstring. Let's just do a few more. Folding over and coming up. Folding over, lengthening and coming up. And we fold over, stay in that hinge and bend and stretch and bend and stretch. Few more like this. Bend and stretch and bend and stretch. One more. Bend and stretch. Very nice. Bring your torso upright. We bend that front knee now, thinking of scooping up through those lower abdominals so that we find ourselves in a little bit of a posterior pelvic tilt. So we're tipping that pelvis under just a bit as we bend that front knee, feeling a nice hip flexor stretch here. Bending forward, trying to send knee right over the ankle. Few more like this. I know that my back's to you. I apologize. We bend and stretch, but maybe you can see this from a different angle, which might help you. Good. Tipping that pelvis under, lengthening through those hip flexors. Let's do one more. Very nice. You're going to grab the strap with your other hand, rotate, kind of pivoting on the ball of your foot, and then bringing that chair leg a little bit more forward of your hip. You're going to hold the other band around your belly button if you have it, and then we're gonna send our knee over our toe and then come back to center. So we fold, feeling a stretch through that inner thigh, really opening the hip. I want you to think knee is open, so it's not falling forward, rather open and goes right in a line with your foot. And I want you to also lengthen that foot away from you a little bit to start. So not that you have a crunched up posture to begin with. Reach that foot away so the knee has somewhere to go as you shift, if that makes sense. Few more. Holding through your center, through your core. Shoulders stay nice and down, neck is long. So we have an upright posture. Thinking as if you were maybe in ballet class. Very nice. Let's do one more. All right, come back. Shift your hip over that foot and then lengthen through the other side. You're going to grab with your inside arm, other arm reaches up, out to the side, and you side bend. And then you come on up. You side bend here. I'm so sorry that the top of my arm is out of the frame. This is the best setup I can do at the moment in the space I have, but I'm hoping that you can see me well enough. Inhale, reach up and out to go over. Exhale to stand. Inhale. And exhale. Let's do two more. Inhale. And exhale. And one more. Inhale. And exhale, come back up. All right, you're going to keep a hold of that strap. We rotate away from the chair. This bottom toe untucks, and then you make sure you're in a wide enough stance that you can balance yourself here. We're holding the strap in the same hand of the leg that's back. We lift our chest, lift our lower abdominals so that our back isn't swayed or arched, and breathe here. Inhale. You can exhale. Pull that band in just slightly. Inhale. And exhale. Again, in this position, we try to keep shoulders stacked over the hips, so lifting through the chest rather than folding forward or falling forward through the torso is going to deepen that stretch in the quadriceps. Inhale. And exhale. As you pull that strap in, maybe you think of bracing your spine even more with those abdominals to keep your stability. Inhale. And exhale. And one more. Inhale. And exhale. Very nice. You can lengthen that strap out. Just hold a little bit of tension here. We're bringing the back arm up. We inhale, we lengthen, we rotate our shoulders away, circling our arm, and bring it back up in the center. Inhale to reach away. Exhale, center. So we're trying to rotate from our upper body and working hard to keep that lower body, those hips nice and still. It's going to help you with your balance. Few more like that. Inhale, think long as you open, rotating through the spine. Inhale and exhale. Very nice. On the next one, bring it straight up in the center. Inhale. On the exhale, you lift just your chest towards the ceiling like you're shining a necklace onto the ceiling. and then come on up. So we think long and lengthen, lifting, shining the heart, shining your collarbone towards the ceiling. Neck stays in line with your head. Inhale. So it all moves in one piece here. And let's do one more. Inhale. And exhale. I know my arm was not showing. Again, I apologize for that. I'm going to bring a slight bend to that front knee for stability here and slide that back foot off. Backing on up. And let's have a seat on the chair once more. We inhale. My feet are nice and grounded. I'm going to exhale, tip chin to chest, round spine backwards in space as I walk my hands up on the strap here, lowering down, folding my chest towards my knees. I inhale. And on the exhale, I'm thinking of rounding backwards with my spine once again. Unfolding and sitting tall, not standing tall. I almost said. Inhale. Exhale, tuck chin to chest. We round, kind of thinking of scooping out the spine and abdominals, and then that whole C curve starts to come forward as you walk your hands. Inhale here. And exhale. Shift it backwards. Pull the abdominals towards the spine, and then unfold the chest. And on the next one, we stay low and breathe for a second. Inhale. And exhale, tuck chin to chest. Rolling on down, walking those hands forward. We find that rounded spine. Thinking of my sitting bones, still reaching down for that chair. I inhale here. Exhale, sink a little lower. Inhale. And exhale. Really expanding through the back of my rib cage here. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale, sink lower. Let it all go. You can take any tension out of your neck by shaking your head no that may have built up. Gently set that strap down. Come on up, have a lift of that foot, and then we can take off that core first and then stand up nice and tall. All right, let's end class with a nice deep breath here. We inhale, press down through the floor, scoop up all that good energy, and then exhale, close your eyes, bring your hands to your heart. Inhaling here. Feeling nice and tall, lengthened and long. Inhaling. Thanking yourself for slowing down a little bit, for taking some time to give your body some stretch and lengthening and recovery. Inhale. And exhale, let your arms float open, let your shoulders roll up, down, and back. I thank you as well for joining me today. Be sure to check the description for additional complimentary classes that I will link once they're released, or you can check the playlist as well. There's plenty of different playlists for different props, different vibes and feelings. And if you feel so inclined, a like or subscribe goes a long way to encourage me to keep making these videos. Most of all, I really thank you for joining me, for doing something nice for your body, for lengthening through areas that may have been compressed. I hope you feel great, and I hope that you continue to shine, my friend. Have a nice day. Bye. Sincere thanks to you, my friend, for being an important part of the beginning of this channel. Every view, thumbs up, subscribe, and encouraging comment increases connection and really does help this space to grow. Please consider following if you haven't already. I appreciate your support, and I hope you'll join me again.